Hello, welcome to floor 23. Haven't done a bit of commentary in a while, so I figured I probably should for this one. So there was I had a bit of a problem with capturing floor 23. I started the game originally, and everything was going grand, and I had to exit out and basically come back in. So my resources from the last video are a little bit different. So when I finished the video for the last one, I had X amount of resources, and then this one they're a bit lower, and that's because I found that if you play the floor and then exit out, what happens is that your resources, what you spend, and if you sort of half do a floor, actually stay that way if you go back to do the floor again. So I've got less resources, which has sort of scuppered me a little bit on this one, but I sort of thought I'd mention it just in case anyone sort of spotted that something doesn't look quite right. So I think I played through most of the floor, spent a load of resources, and then just the recording stopped, the game sort of stopped as well, and so I had to basically pray that it was gonna still be there when I started to record again, and to check it. And luckily enough, the game saved. It just didn't save the floor progress, as seems to be the sort of common thing with Dungeon of the Endless. So it's a bit disappointing. I had to sort of do double the work, but I'm glad that it's just there, so we can continue on anyway. And I suppose for this one as well, I didn't want to just sort of keep rambling with how the sort of game mechanics work. I suppose for my first playthrough, my first walkthrough or game guide, or whatever this is, because I haven't really had any sort of direction. I've just been sort of experimenting with these videos, so it is a bit of an odd one. I sort of figured that I would just sort of talk about how I've sort of been finding the whole sort of process, and I've made quite a few mistakes, and I've learnt from them. I think things like technical hardware failing, you obviously you can never account for something just stopping with these sort of capture cards, and even Steam as well, and the games on Steam. Sometimes you just you run into random problems. But I guess the biggest problem that I've sort of encountered is actually the game itself. I really enjoy Dungeon of the Endless, and I sort of figured it would be a great way it would be a great game to start recording and doing voice narration and things like that. But as I've sort of found with the previous videos, it's really hard to talk over the top of it, because there isn't too much to talk about. The levels are quite repetitive. You are just generally doing the same thing level after level, and you do run out of things to talk about. And I think even if I had recorded this live, if I'd done a bit of live commentary over the game, which I actually tried, I thought I'd give that a go, it doesn't work very well. You sort of find yourself it's a thinking game. It's not really a what's going on over there. It's very sort of controlled and regimented, in that you open the door and you can talk about what's in that room, but generally it's just going to be a wave of enemies or an empty room. So you can't really talk about the game too much, and I think that was probably my biggest mistake about sort of starting a video or a let's play, is that you have to have something to talk about. And with Dungeon of the Endless, while it's an absolutely amazing game, and I don't have I could play the game all day, it's just quite hard to talk about the game, and that's probably where I think I went wrong. I think if I had to, for my next game, and that I sort of pick that I want to sort of do a run through, I figured I'd pick something that I can stop the recording at any moment, I can save at any moment, and that there's no, with this I sort of felt like obliged to basically finish the entire level. And sometimes the video recording just keeps going on and on and on. So you do like a 40-minute video of one level, or 20 or 30-minute video of one level, and it goes on and on and on. And I think anyone would probably struggle to do a 30-minute commentary of just opening doors and clicking on bosses and things like that. So I think it's not the greatest game to do for perhaps a first series. I think originally I'd sort of planned to just do a silent playthrough, so just playing the music, clicking, you know, through all the levels and whatnot, and just leaving it at that and not doing commentary. But when I was sort of playing through the game, I obviously sort of felt that I would like to try a bit of commentary, so I thought I'd give it a go. And then when I didn't do commentary, it sort of felt like, well, we're back to this silent video of just me playing it. So it's definitely been a challenge trying to, I suppose, make this series interesting, I think is perhaps the right word to pick for this, to try and make it interesting. The game itself, I mean, it's sort of self-explanatory. I mean, what you see is what you get. You open a door, you go inside, you check to see what's there, and, you know, you move on. And it's like that floor after floor. You could talk about, you know, oh, this is my tactic, this is what I'm doing, but once you've explained it on one floor, you've sort of explained it on every floor, and I didn't want to sort of just ramble on about the same thing over and over again, which is sort of thing I did in my previous videos. I sort of felt that I was just talking about the same things I talked in previous videos, and that was no good. So here we are anyway, and I've got a bit of a shorter video. I'm recording after, or recording my voice after, obviously recording the gameplay. I just had some problems with doing it live. The quality wasn't there, and I also forgot to turn off the in-game music and lower the volume of the FX and stuff. So I found that basically whenever I'd finished recording it, it ended up being an absolute mess. So there you go, lesson learned anyway. So I think for my next game, I'm probably going to pick something that, again, I really enjoy. I'm not going to just sort of pick a game that's, you know, broken, like a broken game, or, you know, something that's like Alien Colonial Marines, say, for instance. You know, a lot of YouTube videos I see sort of just, they play older games that they know are going to be bad, and then they just talk about the fact that the game's bad, and I don't really want to do that. I just want to play games that I enjoy playing, and I figured that I would just stick to that and just try and enjoy myself in, you know, playing the game, and also this new sort of aspect of what I'm doing, which is recording. So the next one's going to be something I enjoy, and I'm not going to mention it on this video because it's basically in case I change my mind, and then it basically means then that I'm you know, I contradict myself if I start putting up videos about something completely different. I will say at the time of this recording though, I'm also doing the Journey playthroughs, so I'm sort of doing that as a silent playthrough because I don't think I need to do a commentary over Journey. It's a really sort of ambient game, and the sound and everything is just excellent, so I don't think I need to talk over the top of it. But as with this, I mean, this was a game I didn't sort of think I'd ever have to talk over the top of, but just due to the lengths and the amount of videos that I've been putting out for this playthrough, I sort of felt I had to. So there you go. The one thing that I think I'm going to do going forward though is probably do voice narration for each game, or at least talk about the game in some way. I've sort of, you know, obviously been experimenting, and some of the videos have commentary, some of them don't, but I'm sort of happy now with what I've sort of finally decided to sort of talk about. I generally try and write notes about just what works from video to video if I'm doing, especially when I'm doing commentary. And I think one of the problems I've found with doing the voice narration is that I try and do it all in one go, and you know, when you're editing you just see one big long bar, and it's pretty daunting to do. You know, it's quite hard to sort of edit if you make your videos really long, which is why, again, another reason why I didn't want to do commentary for some of the half an hour or 40-minute videos that I was doing from this playthrough. So I've sort of come up with a happy medium that I should just do it in bite-sized chunks, and hopefully with the next game being a little bit more of a stop-start, I can save, I can start the game up whenever I want again. It means that I can do these sort of nice bite-sized bits of commentary, and I'm hopefully going to have a way of doing live audio in the game. I think this next game I really want to be more of a focus on live audio, so when I'm explaining what I'm saying, and it's going to be a little bit more open-ended than just a sort of top-down game as well. I suppose the one thing I'm looking forward to and not looking forward to about doing live commentary is that with this video, even when I'm recording and I'm going back and listening to what I'm saying and just seeing if it's all sort of fairly coherent so people can understand what I'm saying, is that I say a lot of the word things like that, and I don't know if anyone else has this problem, but it's so apparent that when you listen back to your voice and you're listening to what you say, just how many times you actually say that. You know, you sort of stutter between words and say and I've had to edit out so many of them. So I really hope that when I'm doing a bit of live commentary, that what I'm saying isn't going to be filled with because you don't realise you're saying it at the time, but when you go back to listen to it, you just, you know, it was just a revelation. And I've had to cut those out, and I've left a few in. But yeah, it's so strange having to listen back to yourself and take out bits and pieces of what you're saying because it's just dead space or it's filler, you know. So there you go. So live's going to be interesting, I think. I'm looking forward to giving it a go and just seeing how it works and whatnot. So hopefully, I think the main thing I'm really not too confident about at the moment is separating the audio. I think that is probably going to be the challenge, and just making sure that I can edit pieces individually as opposed to just one strip of, you know, a recording. So there you go. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there. I'm going to try not to fill every single space of the video just talking. That was another problem I had with the previous videos as well, is that I felt that I had to just keep talking and talking and talking, and I suppose I don't. So I'm going to leave it here anyway and just let the rest of the floor play out, and I will see you in the next one. See ya.